he told himself. The old woman in him was coming out. Suddenly he could move. He could think. He sprang down into the road and kneeled in the dust. "Sam! Hey, Sam!" he called. Out of the babel of voices of men congratulating one another that the robber had not stripped them of watches and wallets, Traynor heard one fellow saying, "He killed the guard, all right." "Almighty God," said Traynor. He could not believe it. Dead men should stare at the world with dead eyes. But there was still the old twinkle of humor in the look of Sam Whitney. "Possums taught me how to play dead," he used to say. But now he said nothing. His eyes would not move from the distance into which they peered, and there was a great red blotch across his breast. Traynor ran for the buckskin leaders. He had a revolver with him. Fool that he was, he could remember now that he was armed. He cut the near leader out of its harness, leaped on the bare back, and raced the horse into the brush up the slope. Sam Whitney was dead, and there never would be peace in Traynor's soul until the murderer went down. Old Sam Whitney had taught him how to throw a rope. He had taught Traynor how to strum a guitar, and how to shoot, and how to stick to the back of a pitching bronco. Sam Whitney was dead, but part of his soul would live on in the minds of his friends, and in the mind of Larry Traynor above all. The buckskin, running like a racer, blackened with sweat already, streaked across the round forehead of the mountain, through trees, into the clear. And yonder galloped a big man on a swift little horse, a quick-footed little sorrel. A mountain man on a mountain horse, no doubt. The robber turned, the black mask of his face with the white showing through the eye holes. He snatched up his rifle, and Traynor, as the buckskin ran on, fired twice. The first bullet hit empty air, and he knew it. The second shot skidded the sombrero off the head of the robber. Then the rifle spoke, and the buckskin fell on its nose. Traynor turned a somersault, got staggeringly to his feet, and fired once more at a dim vision which was disappearing through the thick of the brush. The only answer that came back to him was the clattering of hoofs that disappeared into the distance. He turned to the buckskin. The bullet had clipped it right between the eyes. Beautiful shooting. Shooting almost too beautiful, because there were not half a dozen men in the mountains who were able to make a snapshot as effective as this. Such accuracy narrowed the field in which he would have to search. He stripped the bridle and harness from the limp, dead buckskin. Then Traynor went over to the spot where the sombrero had fallen. It was a common enough hat, a Stetson, and he looked at the sweatband, where initials of owners are often punctured through the leather. But there was no sign. The hat was new, which made it all the worse as an identifying mark. However, he had something to go on. A mountain man riding a sorrel mountain horse, an active little beauty, a fellow who was a dead shot. Thoughtfully, Traynor walked over the round of the slope and back into the road. The passengers started clattering at him. "No luck," said Traynor gloomily. "This hat, and that's all." He put the other buckskin leader behind the stage and drove down the sloping road with only 4 horses. The pointers acting bewildered when they found themselves at the head of the team. They entered Little Snake. A crowd, half mounted and half running on foot, was already tailing about the stage, shouting questions when the fattest and oldest man among the passengers called, "There's Bill Clancy's clothing store. Stop over there and see if he might have sold this hat." Traynor stopped the coach. The crowd fell on the passengers. Half a dozen attached themselves to each man, babbling questions, getting terse, important answers. When they got into Clancy's store, they first stood at the counter with proprietorial airs, waiting for Clancy to finish examining the hat. He was a sour-faced little man, this Clancy, and now he took the Stetson on the tip of his face.